I'm Jeff Matlow. Welcome to the best leadership podcast ever. Welcome back to the best leadership podcast ever, where every week we reframe your daily habits to help you catapult your career. It's exciting. It's fun. My name is Jeff Matlow. I'm a 3-time entrepreneur, and now I help transform teams into highly productive, highly collaborative units. But enough about me. Let's talk about the Babylonians, shall we? You see, in 2000 BC, our Babylonian brethren celebrated the beginning of each year's harvest season with a festival known as Akitu. Now, Akitu has absolutely nothing to do with praying to an Akita dog, though I wish it did because it'd make a really good story, but it doesn't. So anyway, during this Akitu festival, the Babylonians danced and drank and had parades and stuff. And more importantly, they resolved to pay off their outstanding debts and return any items they had borrowed in the previous year before they start planting the new crops. Little did they know, but these Babylonian rites would be recognized as the invention of New Year's resolutions. Fast forward 4,000 years, and here we are maintaining our ancestors' traditions by getting drunk, counting backward from 10, and joining a gym only to cancel our membership a few months later. I'm not quite sure they'd be proud of us, but here we are anyway. When it comes to the calendar you know and love, there's no real reason for January 1st to be on January 1st. It's actually an arbitrary date that was created by Julius Caesar. It's his fault, isn't it always? You see, the Babylonians were very purposeful. They celebrated the new year on the spring equinox, which is now known as March 20th. That celestial event marks the transition point to more sunlight and greater warmth. It's the beginning of the harvest season. There is no astral reason or greater godly purpose for Caesar to start the calendar 3 months earlier. The only reason January 1st is currently on January 1st is because Julius and the Romans, in all their narcissistic glory, decided that the world should reset on the day that the senators start their jobs. We now celebrate New Year's as if the day actually means something, but it doesn't. And our modern resolutions aren't any better. The Babylonians did things right. They started with purpose. All activity was focused on the beginning of the harvest season. They tied up loose ends by paying off debts and returning the shit they borrowed the year before. Their goal was to clean the slate and ensure that they were all simpatico in the eyes of their gods. In comparison, our modern resolutions seem like a bunch of self-centered drivel. It mostly comes down to exercise more, lose weight, eat healthier, and make more money. But there's an important lesson to all of this. And the lesson starts with the Babylonians, but extends all the way through the ages and knocks on the door to your self-awareness. You may want to sit down for this one. According to a U.S. News report, a whopping 80% of New Year's resolutions are abandoned by February. 80%. That's a whole lot of failure. Imagine failing at 80% of what you promised to accomplish at work. You'd be fired. Heck, if a salesperson only hit 20% of their goal, they'd be gone faster than you can say New Year's Day hangover. Your resolutions are only as good as your commitment to see them through, even when it's challenging to do so, especially when it's challenging to do so. Your resolutions are as weak or as strong as your intention to resolve them. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm not just talking about New Year's resolutions. I'm talking about leadership. I'm talking about growth. I'm talking about your life, your success. I'm talking about turning you into a highly productive person who motivates highly productive teams. And it turns out there are 6 steps you need to know to do this. Only 6 steps towards achieving your goals. And if you do these 6 steps, they're going to change your life. How do I know? Because they changed mine. And if you don't do them, nothing's going to change. In fact, 80% of you listening to this won't change a thing. The other 20% will recognize the tweaks you need to make in order to climb higher than you've ever climbed before. So without further ado, here they are, the 6 important resolutions to resolve your resolutions. Resolution number 1, be committed. See, a goal is only important to make if you're committed to following a plan to achieve it. If you are not mentally and emotionally committed to achieving the goal, I guarantee you're going to fail. So if you're unable to get past this step, nothing else matters. You might as well cancel your goals now. Resolution number 2, create a plan. Congratulations, you're mentally and emotionally committed to achieving your goal. That's a start. But like what was written on that poster in your college dorm room, a goal without a plan is just a dream. Most resolutions fail because there isn't a plan. Most goals aren't achieved because there isn't a plan. Here's what people who fail say. They say, I just joined a gym, I'm going to get fit this year. But here's what's said by people who succeed. I just joined a gym and I'm committed to showing up at 7 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of every week, whether I feel like going or not. I've time blocked it on my calendar for the year, and by the end of today, I'm going to have put together a specific training plan for me to follow that will allow me to achieve my goals by May 31st. In business, we call that SMART goals. Keep in mind, even the Babylonians weren't vague in their goal setting. They didn't say, I resolve to lower my credit card bills at some point this year. Instead, their resolutions had very clear and concise plans. I'm going to pay back and give back everything I owe, and I'm going to do it today. Then they did it. Resolution resolved. Without a clear plan and consistent behavior, you and your team simply aren't going to hit your goals. Period. Full stop. And that leads us to resolution number 3, self-reflect. You've committed to your goals and you've created a plan. I'm proud of you. But before you take another step, it's super important to start with a bit of self-reflection. Where have you and your team failed with your goals in the past? What is it about you that caused that failure? How are you going to remain conscious of and overcome that frailty this time around? You see, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And what I mean is that you're guaranteed to repeat the same behaviors of the past unless you raise your level of self-awareness and consciously try to correct it. So start raising and start correcting. Resolution number 4, accountability. Achieving your goals and improving your team's productivity is all about accountability. Accountability is all about empowerment. In fact, if you want to master accountability, you should take my course on how to 10x your team's productivity. It'll change your life. You can find it at bytitleonly.com. Resolution number 5, big changes take small steps. The Babylonians set the resolution bar pretty low. It was pay back my debts and return the stuff I borrowed and do it all now. That's how they succeeded. Most of us, however, set pretty big goals, and then we feel defeated when our actions don't match the ambitiousness of our expectations. We say things like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by March, or I'll never eat fried food again. It's all nice and fine to say that stuff until life tosses out a challenge or two and you just end up calling it quits because it's too big of a goal. To achieve big goals, you have to take small steps. One step at a time, one day at a time. There's always something worth celebrating. You don't have to wait until the end. Success isn't just about reaching that pot of gold. Success can be found in every effort to climb every rung of the rainbow, assuming, of course, that rainbows have rungs, which I can neither confirm nor deny. Resolution number 6, it takes a village. It takes people, or it takes village people. It's hard to live life alone. Accomplishment comes through the support of others. So are you delegating effectively? Are you getting the support you need, whether it's from teamwork, mentorship, or celebratory cheers? Are you working with your team to create collective goals, or are you supporting your team in achieving their individual goals? Listen, Caesar tried to make us believe that January 1st marks the promise of a new beginning. Don't listen to Caesar. He's weird, he's narcissistic, and honestly, he dresses funny. Every single day of the year is an opportunity for a small step forward, and every small step forward brings you closer to achieving bigger goals. The best leaders don't wait for a new year to start setting goals, reflecting on their behaviors, and holding themselves accountable. They do it every day. So today is as good of a day as any to prove to yourself and your team that you have the grit to follow through. So grit it up, my friend. Whether you're channeling your inner Babylonian and giving back that borrowed Tupperware, or transforming your team into a highly productive unit, the same rules apply. Commitment, clarity, accountability, and the dedication to get back on track when things go sideways. Remember, success isn't about setting resolutions, it's about resolving to resolve them. Now is the time to start being the new you. It's time to commit. Thank you for listening. If you like this, please share it with a friend. I appreciate you. I'm honored that you show up. My name's Jeff Matlow. This is the best leadership podcast ever. Find out more at bytitleonly.com, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.